What's up? It's Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. I'm going to be on the whiteboard today because I need to drill this into your minds because I get a lot of people that email me and I hear the same questions and problems, and it seems that I'm telling people what to do, and then they, for some reason, it's just not sinking in. So I want to kind of drill it into you, because what I'm seeing in today's world with people with the thinking is that they just don't understand. And I know that this is something that we all learn over time, but you gotta understand that you yourself is not the problem when it comes to your credit. It's the circumstances that you've put yourself into that is the actual problem. Yes, the things that you've done have caused problems, but don't think that you yourself is the problem. So before we get started on what I'm going to teach you about how to do what I call confronting the credit repair fears, because a lot of people don't even get started on their credit repair journey simply because they're afraid of knowing what they don't know or learning about what they don't know. So the first thing that I want you to think about in your mind is that if things are not working, have a meeting with yourself. If something's not going right in my life, what I do is I look at myself and say, what am I doing that could be making these actions? Because everything that you see in your life, everything that I see in my life, the things that happen, the results that come about are from things that are on the inside, because the inside reflects on the outside. It's not the reverse. Things don't happen to you on the outside and then it goes to you on the inside. No, it's your thoughts, your feelings, your expectations, your perceptions. All of that is on the inside, and then your life reflects that on the outside. So if you think a certain way, if you think everything can go wrong for you, things will go wrong for you, and the result will show on the outside. Because if you think about it, look at what the good things that happen for other people, and you probably say in your mind that you're just as good as them, or you think that they're lucky when they're not lucky. Things that happen to people is not luck. Now, there are some lucky things that can happen, but 99.999% of the time it's because they put themselves in front of those circumstances and those results happening for them in their life. So if things are not going right with you, you need to have a meeting with yourself, and you can write it down on a piece of paper so you can say, is that problem coming from within inside of me, or is that problem just a problem in itself? And then when you do that, you look for solutions, which is what we're going to talk about with credit repair. Next thing is that you gotta, no matter what you do, credit repair or anything, you're gonna have to have consistency, focus, belief, and persistence. If you don't have that, it's just not gonna work. And then don't waste your time on thoughts worrying about bad things. Don't worry about bad things happening. And that goes with even bad things with your health. Don't worry about that. You do things to be healthy, but you don't worry about something bad happening with your health. And don't worry about what other people think about you. You think for yourself. And then watch out for false illusions. And watch out for false illusions, things that they could be perceptions that people put inside of you, your parents or friends, family members, things that they've drilled into you since you were younger, and you perceive it to be that way when it's not really that way. And then believe in yourself. You don't need other people to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. When my wife and I started our first company, friends, family members, a lot of people laughed at us. They were saying, "Who do you think you are? This isn't going to work." None of that. They don't say things like that now when we're driving a $150,000 Range Rover, when I'm driving one of my Mercedes, when I'm driving my other Range Rover, when I have my office building. people don't make those type of comments now. But if I would have let my belief from them influence me, I would have never been able to achieve what I've been able to achieve in my life. So you have to believe in yourself. Don't worry about trying to make other people believe in you. So now let's talk about confronting credit repair fears. I run into this just so much, and it doesn't matter where you are in life. I have clients that make millions of dollars that have credit repair problems, and I have clients that don't make too much money that have credit repair problems. And the number one thing is that they are afraid of confronting what's on those credit reports. And I think that the reason why they have the problem confronting those items is because they don't know what they're going to do to fix them. So whenever we run into problems, a lot of times we don't want to confront that problem or learn about it because we don't know in our mind how we're going to fix it. But you have to make a sea change and not think that way, because if you continue thinking that way, you're never going to fix anything. What I always do is I just write it down on a piece of paper. Just write it down, and then you can look at it and you can say, okay, what are the solutions? So let me just tell you what I do. And this is what I do for my clients. This is what I do for myself with anything that I'm trying to accomplish. So the first thing, get your piece of paper. If you got to pause the video, pause the video. And what we're going to do is we're going to confront So when I talk about confronting credit repair fears, actually what it is, if you break that down, is confronting what's on the credit reports. When you or anyone or any time that we want to make changes in our lives, there's two things that we think about right away. We think about where we are now, because if there's no goal if you don't know where you are now. You may not know every aspect of what that means to know where you are now or living in the now, but you know where you are now, and then you know what the goal is. You want good credit. That's the goal. You know you have bad credit now, and you want good credit for your goal is to have good credit. So we'll even break that down some. So to be more specific, now you have bad credit, you want good credit, but these are the fears that pop up, and we've done thousands of customers, and no matter, just like I said earlier, no matter where they are on the income scale, this is the problem right here, is confronting those fears. And when I say that, this is what you have to do. You're going to have to get over the hump. And some people, when it's like some of them are good at confronting and like knowing what they have problems with, but they have another problem when it comes to the solution. So let's first look at the most common problem that we have, which is confronting the fears, which is the first thing that you got to do is you got to get the reports to know what you're up against. You wouldn't believe how many people have signed up with my company, and it was like pulling teeth to get them to get the reports. And it's not because they don't think we need the reports to do the work. It's more about they're afraid of knowing exactly what's on there, because they're thinking that mountain might be too high to climb. We've actually had customers where they just decided not to even follow through with the credit repair services that we offer, simply because they came up with excuses not to get their credit reports, which is incredible. So when you get those credit reports, the next thing that's going to be required is to look at what's on there. What are you facing? So let's just take one type of item that's mostly common, which is collections. And this is the way that we get the fear out of them by saying, okay, you have collections, so now let's see what type of collection is it. And then the person starts to calm down a little bit. Okay, now they know what type of collection it is. Now let's look at the options to solve those collection problems. And then we just break it down to them. We'll say, okay, we're going to look at the statutes of limitations. The next thing we're going to look at is a validation process, which with my company we call it the 8-point validation process system. So we're going to go through a validation process, and when we do that validation process, we want to look at, was it sold to a collection agency? Are they the original collection agency that had it, or are they assigned by another agency, or was it sold from this collection agency to another one, to another one, to another one, which is potentially possible. And that's where you start to see where there's problems with the actual item being reported on the credit report. The next thing we do, if it's not with a collector, is it with the original creditor? If it is with the original creditor, we want to make sure that that any inaccuracies. So then we want to make sure that if it's with the original creditor, we want to comb through that item to see if there's any problems with any inaccuracies with the way that it's being reported on the credit reports. It could be a legal item that, a legal collection from the original creditor, but there could be problems with the way they put it on the reports. And the way that the law states is that no matter what the item is, if you owe the debt or not, that it must legally be shown on your credit reports the right way. And that's when we do our 8-point validation system, that's exactly what we're looking for with original creditors and with debt collectors. And then the next thing is that, well, you're a victim of ID theft. And if you were a victim of ID theft with that item, then there's another process that must be followed to get any items that you believe to have been placed on your credit reports that you were a victim of ID theft. So this is, when the person lays this out, then it gets them over here faster, a lot faster, because then what you're doing is you're confronting those fears. You're not afraid of knowing what's on there, because that's the first thing. When you're looking at succeeding in anything that you're going to do, you have to know what you're going to have, what you need to do to be able to get to that position. And so starting at where you are right now, and then going through that process and understanding the getting your reports, understanding, looking at what are the negative items on your reports, what type of negative items are there, and then running it through a process to solve those problems, and item by item, looking at what are the different options to solve those problems. And then it just becomes work, where you have to do the work, and that can take some time. A lot of follow-up process, a lot of follow-up work that's required, but it is 100% possible to be able to get that done, to get you over here to the goal of good credit. Now, earlier when I had stated that there are problems that I see, even if a person is not afraid to look at what's on their reports, it's like they're over that hump. They can look, they can see that they got collections, they can see that they have all types of issues on there. They're not afraid to look at that. Then the next problem that people run into, or that we see with clients, is that they have what I call self-sabotage behaviors. That's where they try to insert themselves into something that they have no understanding or no knowledge about doing. It would be like me taking my car to the shop to get it fixed, And even though I know a little bit about fixing cars, a little bit, I'm talking about this little. And you know, I've seen people work on cars. I have clients that own auto repair shops. But I would not drive my car in there and tell them how to do their job. Because if I wanted to do that, then why don't I do the job? And I know what you might be thinking right now. Well, I want to make sure that it's done the right way. Well, that is your, before you get to that, you need to know what type of shop that you're dealing with. When you want to get your credit repaired, if you make a decision to work with a company and you look at that company and you look at what they can do, a lot of people say, well, I want to look at the reviews and stuff. People's situation is different from another individual's situation. Reviews are well and good, but what you should do is you should break down exactly what that company say they're going to do. And then you insert yourself into there by saying, I'm going to follow and do exactly what they tell me to do so I can get to my ultimate goal. What we see some people doing, not all, what we see some people doing, and this is across the board. This, I'm not just talking about people with credit repair problems. I see this in several different business industries where people, they want to get to a goal, but what they do is they insert themselves and they self-sabotage the potential for success on there, and it's because of their internal perception of the way that they perceive either their self-worth or the way that other people have put things into them to where they think that bad things are always going to happen for them. So if you start the process, they will figure out a way to make the process not work. Any type of way. I've had it where people would call us over and over and over and try to tell us what to do for their credit repair process. We've had people that called us and then they're just nagging type people. And you're like, why are you nagging? Because it's a process. We tell people that it could take 30 to 45 days to get results. And then they'll call you next week and say they didn't get results. It's because internally on the inside, they have self-sabotaging behaviors. And if they don't do anything to sabotage the good that they're trying to accomplish, their body, because they let their body and their feelings run them, they don't let their mind run them. And when I point to the mind, I don't point to the brain. I point to the mind. The mind is outer. And let me just kind of draw it out for you. This stuff is important because, you know, yeah, we're talking about credit repair, but when we're talking about achieving goals, there's a lot of internal beliefs that are inside of all of us that can make you not achieve those goals. And every day I start to awaken even more and more of the potential of the potential greatness that's inside of me, and I want to share with other people to share so they'll know the potential greatness that they can pull out of themselves. This is and you know Bob Proctor drew something like this. This is called subconscious mind, and then the body. I think that's how he drew it, but I'm just going to say it how a way that I think you can understand it. And then you have conscious mind, and then you had a mind. So when we get information that comes into us, it'll go through subconscious mind, which is subconscious mind, has no ability to reject anything that comes into it. Conscious mind can reject information that comes in. That's like if somebody walks up to you and they say something to you, you can either accept it or reject it. But on a daily basis, when you have something that's put into you over and over and over again, your conscious mind may reject it, but your subconscious mind, if it hears it over and over and over again, it will actually start to make your body do the your body will actually start doing what that subconscious signal is that you've gotten over and over and over, and you will actually be leading your life through your body, which will be the results that you'll be getting. You'll be getting those results from what you have in your subconscious mind. Consciously, you could be trying to change the result of what's in what your body is putting out there, but you won't be able to do it because subconscious mind is like a computer. It will overdo. That's why when we try to lose weight or we try to do something where we try to be a better person, if you don't subconsciously reprogram yourself, what's going to happen is you're going to do it consciously and say, I want to be better, I want to lose weight, I want to do this. But what you've done subconsciously is wrote in there like a computer, and it eventually is going to flip right over and tell your body this is what we want to do, so you can get the results that you've always been getting. Because the results that you always been getting makes your body feel comfortable, even if it is something that is detrimental to you. Even if it's detrimental to you, your body will feel comfortable in that position rather than if you try to change your situation. So, if you're trying to make it through confronting credit repair fears, if you are able to see all of the negative information, you put a plan, or you let us put a plan of action for you, or you put a plan of action, when you're trying to get to that goal, your subconscious mind, whatever you have inside of it about that this is not going to work, or they're not going to take those items off my credit reports, whatever you believe subconsciously is what's going to determine the way that you're going to continue working at that credit repair problem. And if you have not made a change here, you can keep pressing upon it consciously, but you're going to get tired, because soon as you don't get the results the first time that you wanted, you're going to revert 100% back to what you've always thought subconsciously, and you're going to go back to the way it was. That's why some people start working on their credit and then they'll stop. They'll come back 5 months later, a year later. I've seen it where people start and stop, and it's solely because of their subconscious beliefs. What I've learned, and I did a test running on the treadmill, and I said, okay, I'm going to really test this out. I'm going to and I wanted to test it on the treadmill because I felt that if there's any proof that the mind is that we live in three different positions. We have our mind, subconscious, conscious, and the body, and that you cannot allow your life to live from the body telling the conscious, subconscious, and your mind what to do. And the way that it does that is it does that by feelings, the way that it feels. So what I did is I did a test on the treadmill. I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, but while I'm running on there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my mind that it's in charge, and no matter how my body was feeling, I'm not going to stop running. I'm going to continue running. And what I found was that when I started running on there, and I run on a treadmill at least 4 days a week, but on this one I wanted to run further. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to see how far I can run. And what the first thing that started happening was my calves started feeling, getting tight. And this is when I started to go further than I usually go. So the body started talking. The body started saying, "Okay, hey, we went further than what we used to going. You need to think about stopping." So it started sending me signals: stop running, stop running. Okay, you don't want to stop running with your calves. I'm gonna send some pains in your side. You don't want to stop with your side. I'm going to make your arm hurt. The body started sending signals, and what it is, it's not that it can't do it. What it's doing is that it's pressing what's already in the subconscious mind. Subconsciously, I had already had a program of I run this distance and I'm good to go with it. I'm used to doing it. Maybe I'll run a little bit more, but don't press too hard to go further than that. The body starts to tire itself out. But what I did this time is I said the mind is in control. And while I was running, I said my mind is in control, and I want to see if I would be able to continue running. And you want to know, the first time I did it, I was able to run. I think it was another half a mile, and I felt it. But when I was running, it was like I had a separation with my body where it was like, and it's kind of hard to explain, but if you could just picture this, I was running, but it was like the body was waiting on a signal from my mind to stop, rather than my body telling my mind when to stop. And I know that might sound crazy, but it actually did happen, to where it was like I took control of my body. Like I had control of my body again. That means that whatever I put in my mind and I really want to do, it was going to start to materialize first with the belief in my body would do what it takes to get me there, and then the results were going to start happening from that. It was like I rewrote the program that was in my subconscious mind about running. And so now, rather than just running like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I'm pushing to run more of 20 minutes now. And yes, it is a process, because when you're pushing through, it's like you're rewriting every time. So you have to run you have to do the process, and then you have to think while you're doing it, so your body can make those changes and understand that your mind is going to be in control, your body won't be in control. And actually, the body really enjoys this, because the body is just the instrument of what we use to get to like, this is our physical body is like a shell of our mind. Our mind tells the body what we want to be, and we can change and become that in our physical body. Which, when that happens, the results change, and then we have a change in our physical world. Now, I know I went a little bit off on here, but this is just what I feel on the inside, because when I come across people that, they've tried different things in their lives, and they're like, I just can't seem to change. I can't seem to have good things happen to me. And I try to sit them down, and just like I'm talking to you, and I try to explain to them in a way that they can potentially, say, "Whoa, I never heard it said that way. Maybe I can try that." So uh, I'm offering that to you, and these are things that I do for myself. So it's not where I'm just like reading something in a book and then just trying to regurgitate it to you on how to improve your life. No, these are things that I do on a daily basis, and you will see the growth from within me because I'm on a very high trajectory when it comes to my personal, my physical body, and what I'm doing for my businesses. So if you have any questions or comments, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share this information with friends and family. Let them know about what we're talking about here because it's about credit repair, but it's actually more about being able to make changes in our lives also. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it. Get to working on your credit right now because we live in a credit society. You gotta have good credit to be able to move forward. If there was some other way, it would have already been invented. You can see that. I don't have to tell you. You need credit for everything, even if you don't want to use it to buy things, which you shouldn't be just buying things on credit. But you got to have good credit if you're going to live. People check your credit for where you want to live. People check credit if you're trying to get your kid into school to be able to live in a certain area. They're going to check your credit. You can check your credit if you don't want to buy the car that you want to buy with cash. When you want go to buy a home, everything. So they're going to check your credit, even for jobs now. They're checking credit. So deal with your credit, deal with your fears of finding out what's on your credit reports, and then if you, the next thing is don't sabotage yourself by quitting too soon or believing that you have all the answers for something that you are currently experience bad credit, but you can't tell someone how to repair your credit when you're the one that have bad credit. So don't sabotage your potential success. And when you're choosing a credit repair company, look at their processes. Don't look at the fluff and the hype. Look at the processes and see if you insert your situation into that process. Would that potentially be able to work for you? That will show you the way if you should choose to work with a company and show you that you can have success with your credit repair issues. So this is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. I really thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel page if you haven't done that already, and share it. If you need to get reports, there's a link below where you can get your credit reports so you can confront the fears that are on your credit reports if you don't know. And if you do know, then you need to break down again each of those items and put together a plan, which I showed you in the video. Just rewind it and watch it again, and put together a strategy to get rid of those negative items. Thanks a lot and have a great day.